Hello children, and welcome to another math lesson together today. Over the last few days we've learned how to multiply by 10 and to divide by 10. Well, today we're going to learn how to multiply by 100. To help us understand what we are doing when we multiply by 100, we're just going to have a look at our base 10 again to help us. When we multiply by 100, it means we've got a number 100 times, or we're making a number 100 times greater. If we start with 1, 1, if we've got this 100 times, we end up with 100. Another way of looking at it is, if we multiply 1 by 10, and then by 10 again, we've made a number 100 times greater. If we wanted to do the same thing with a 10, 10 100 times, we've learned, is 1,000. Or again, we can multiply it by 10 first to make 100, and 10 again, that would make 1,000. I wonder if you've noticed how many times we move along the columns on our place value grid when we multiply by 100. Watch again to check. If I want 1 100 times, or to make it 100 times greater, I multiply by 10 and 10 again, because there are 100 ones there. To make a 10 times greater, I multiply it by 10 and then 10 again. How many spaces, how many places along did I move this time? That's right, it was twice. So when we make a number 100 times greater, the digits are going to move 2 spaces to the left. Let's have a look at some things in real life. We've got 1 penny. If we make a penny 100 times greater, we then get 1 pound. A pound is 100 times greater in value compared to a penny. There are 100 pennies in a pound. Here's my 1 metre ruler, and you can see it's made up of 100 centimetres. So 1 metre is 100 times greater than 1 centimetre. There are 100 centimetres in a metre. Let's try these 4 calculations, all involving multiplying by 100. Let's start with 9 multiplied by 100. I'm going to put my 9 ones in the correct position, and to make the number 100 times greater, I need to multiply it by 10 and multiply it by 10 again. I've made it 100 times greater. Think carefully about what we learned when we multiplied by 10 when we had spaces here. What do you think I need to do? That's right, I need to replace the spaces now with zeros. So 9 100 times is 900. Moving on to the next calculation, 16 multiplied by 100, we're going to make 16 100 times greater. So we need to move both digits 2 spaces to the left. That's multiplied by 10. Now that's multiplied by 100. As before, we then need to replace the spaces with zeros as place value holders. Our product now is 1,600. The third one is 100 multiplied by 42. Remember, in a multiplication calculation, it doesn't matter which way round your multiplicand and your multiplier is. So I'm going to make 42 100 times greater. Here's 42. Can you try and work out what you think the product is before I show you? Here we go. Multiplied by 10, multiplied by 100, and we replace the spaces with zeros. Did you get the same product as me? 4,200. And the final one is 100 multiplied by 50. We're going to make 50 100 times greater. You have a think about what you think the product will be. Here we go. Multiplied by 10, multiplied by 100, zeros in the spaces. Did you get this product? 5,000. The final activity is for you to look at these 4 equations here and decide whether you think they are correct or incorrect. Pause the video now and work through the 4 calculations. If you need to use your place value grid, just like I've done here, that's fine. Let's start with the first one. 23 multiplied by 100. What was your product? I didn't get 230. I think you might have got 2,300. Let's see why. 23, 100 times greater. Multiplied by 10. I think that's what they did to get that product. They only multiplied it by 10. But we know we have to move the digits 2 spaces before we replace the spaces with zeros. Let's try the next one. 100 multiplied by 14. We're going to make 14 100 times greater. Did you get that product? 1,040. Let's see. So again, we need to move the digits 1 space, and then another space, and then replace the spaces with a 0. Oh, look, the product is similar, but it is not the same. Somehow, these digits have been swapped over. We need to make sure that these digits move along together. Let's look at the next one. 100 multiplied by 63. We're going to make 63 10 times greater this time. Let me find my 3. Here it is. Okay, let's multiply it by 100. What did you get? I think you know that the answer is in fact 6,300. Let's replace those spaces with a 0. And the final one, 52 multiplied by 100. What was your product? Did you get 520? Well, let's see. To make 520, we would move the digits 1 space to the left. We've made them 10 times greater. So here, that should have been 52 multiplied by 10. To make it 100 times bigger, we need to multiply it by 10 again. So I wonder whether you got a product of 5,200. I hope you found that useful. It's your turn now to look at the home learning sheet to see what activities I'd like you to do. Work hard, everybody. Bye-bye.